going? Welcome to my kitchen. We are hanging out today. We're going to be making 3 healthy, no-bake chocolate treats that your friends will love. You will love them, your kids will love them, your parents will love them. They're really delicious. I don't know if you know, but I wrote a cookbook that is all treats that you prepare. But I wanted to give you guys some super simple options for healthy alternatives to meet that sweet craving whenever it strikes. So before we get too far into it, I see everyone joining. As soon as you get here, say hey. Let me know where you're from. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I want to know that the audio is working. And then we'll dive right into these awesome treats. So just a little bit about me. I'm Kelsey. I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm a paleo chef, a baker, and I'm the author of Paleo Sweets Cookbook, which is a new free cookbook. All you have to do is pay shipping, and it's full of amazing paleo desserts. A lot of good chocolate stuff in here too. Let me see. I feel like chocolate cake, chocolate topping, chocolate no-bake cheesecake. So we got a lot of chocolate going on in general, which I think is always a good thing. But you can never have too much chocolate, especially when you can prepare it easily and it's not going to ruin your health. So again, as you're joining, say, hey, I see you guys arriving. It's so nice to have you in my kitchen. We're going to go ahead and get started now. I think the sound is working, but just give me some thumbs up and give me some hearts if you can hear me. Can I see you? Can I see you? Are you there? Okay, awesome. It looks like it's working. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. The 3 treats we're going to be making today are some really simple chocolate almond butter truffles. We're going to move on to a simple dessert that includes dates that are stuffed with amazing healthy nuts. And then we're going to get into a chocolate dipping sauce, which that one is super versatile, and I'm going to tell you a few tricks about that in just a few minutes. But we'll dive into our first dessert today. These chocolate truffles, super simple. I've been making them forever. And one thing that I love that's so versatile about all of these desserts is you can adjust the sugar level depending on what your particular dietary needs are so that they meet your health requirements while still giving you that sweet fix. So for the chocolate truffles, I'm starting out with about 3 tablespoons of coconut palm sugar. I'm going to dump this into a bowl. And coconut palm sugar doesn't dissolve the same way regular sugar does. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to steal an ingredient from a different recipe and add a couple of teaspoons of coconut milk, and that's going to go ahead and dissolve this coconut sugar. So I added about 3 teaspoons of liquid there, and I'm just going to whisk it together with a fork. And you know what's great about this? So we're dissolving the coconut sugar, but if you wanted to use a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup instead, or honey, that's totally fine. Totally an awesome option that still stays in track with the paleo dietary guidelines. We want to keep it natural and unprocessed, but still delicious. Another alternative you can use for this is to choose a couple of tablespoons of a sweetener like honey or maple syrup or the dissolved coconut sugar, and then supplement with some stevia. If you only want to use 1 or 2 tablespoons of sweetener and then fill in the rest with stevia, that actually reduces the overall sugar amount. So I'm going to go ahead and set that fork aside. And this is ½ a cup of almond butter. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this in. And what we're going to be left with, almond butter is so good. It's such a great source of healthy fats. It's also really versatile. There are several recipes in the Paleo Sweets Cookbook that I mentioned, the free cookbook, just pay shipping. I'm going to add a link as soon as I get done shooting the video. But there's several recipes that use what did I just use? Almond butter. And in particular, there's a really great cookie recipe in there, which you might not think that almond butter could be a flour substitute, but it's a great one. So I have ½ a cup of almond butter going in here for the truffles. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You can use raw cacao powder if you really want to get the chocolate antioxidant benefits. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that in, and this is where it gets really tough because you have to stir. So that's the hardest part of making this whole dessert. I'm pretty sure this would be a fun one to make with your kids because it's super simple to throw together. Again, you're teaching them how to make really great health choices and that they can meet their sweet tooth and meet their sweet cravings in a healthy way. So I'm just going to gently folding this in. We want to make sure it's going to start getting kind of thick. And this is pretty much all for this particular recipe. 3 ingredients. It doesn't get much easier than that, but if you want to spice it up a little bit, sometimes I'll add a dash of sea salt or Celtic salt because I love that salty chocolate sweet kind of combination. I actually have a recipe in the Paleo Sweets book that's a salted chocolate ice cream. It's all paleo, all dairy free. But I love that kind of sweet and savory combination. I think I'm also going to add a little splash of vanilla extract. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I love vanilla extract because it really brings out the sweetness in a particular recipe. So I'm gonna just add a little dash in there. I'm using organic vanilla, but I'm kind of curious, and I would love to shoot a video on this for you guys in the future, but have you ever made your own vanilla extract, or have you ever known of anyone who has done that? Give me a thumbs up if you're familiar. Did you even know that you can make your own vanilla extract? I'm really curious about this, so let me know if you've ever tried it, or if you know of anyone who's ever tried it. And if not, or if so, I am interested in teaching you guys how to do that in the future. So look at this, we have like a really nice chocolate dough going here, and you really, like, sometimes I just eat this with a spoon. Can I just be honest with you guys? If I really am having like a late night sweet craving, I'll just add some stevia to the almond butter, add like a couple drops of maple syrup, I'll whip it up, and I'll just eat it with a spoon. But a really great way to serve these and to prep them in advance so you have everything ready for the future is to take a tablespoon. So I just have a tablespoon measuring spoon. You can also just use a regular spoon if you don't have a tablespoon lying around. I'm going to scoop out about a tablespoon amount of that, and I'm rolling that into truffles. So I'm going to set these on a plate. And these are great. Again, you can make them ahead of time. Have them ready for when a sweet craving strikes. You're going to keep them in an airtight container in the fridge. And in fact, after we prep these, we're going to go ahead and toss them in the fridge so they firm up nice and they get a really like delicious ganache type, like a thick and decadent texture. So that makes them even more fun to eat. So we're going to go ahead and whip up one more, and we'll just imagine, we'll just pretend like they've been sitting in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, but not a big deal. You can see we just make them into some nice balls like that, and you can make them whatever shape you want, but I'll be right back. I'm going to grab the ones that I made earlier and show you guys what they look like when they turn out. So another great thing about this recipe, another great thing about this recipe is you're gonna make several, right? So that 3 tablespoons of coconut sugar or whatever sweetener you use ends up going a long way. And again, you can supplement with a little bit of stevia, you can adjust the sweetness, you can taste the truffle dough before you pop them in the fridge and adjust however you need to. But they turn out nice, they're firm, really decadent. I love them, super tasty. I wish you guys could taste these right now. If you want to come over and grab one, just come on down. I'm gonna have plenty of desserts by the end of this. All right, so moving right along, that's like a chewy, decadent treat. Moving right along, we have a super simple bite that I sometimes throw together just in passing in the afternoon. If I need a little pick-me-up or I'm having that kind of sweet craving in the afternoon, but I know I don't want to add any sugar into my diet, and I definitely stay away from caffeine, but if I want a little boost, what I'll do is I will take a whole date. So a date is actually a dried fruit, so it's going to be a higher concentration of sugar, which means it's naturally sweet. You're only going to want to try, 2 of these, but I usually find that I'm good with 1 or 2. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sharp knife, and I'm going to cut a slit lengthwise in the date, just across the top. Oh my gosh, I'm still chewing this truffle, it's so good. So I'm going to open this up, and you can see, I'll show you guys. When you use a really nice sharp knife, you slice it open and you see the little pit in there. We don't want to eat that. That'll hurt your teeth. It's really good for racking up dental bills if you chew on that. And what I love to do is stuff the date with a couple of nuts. So I used to love almonds. I found out I'm sensitive to almonds. I eat them sometimes. You can use almond butter, or you can use sunflower seed butter for the truffles, or you could use other types of nut butter, which we'll get into another time. But today, for stuffing these dates, I'm using hazelnuts, because hazelnuts are amazing, and also they go really well with chocolate. So I'm just going to stick about 2 in each, and again, super simple. Take a sharp knife, carefully slice open the top, just going to squeeze it on both ends like that, and it pops it open. Remove the pit, trade the pit out for some delicious, I'm using toasted hazelnuts. But you can even use pine nuts if you want to get a really interesting flavor going. You can use walnuts if you want to create more of like a brownie effect. Or you could stick with traditional almonds because they're so delicious and healthy. Adding healthy fats to any of the sweet treats you eat is really good for helping regulate how quickly the sugar gets into your bloodstream. So it's always good to combine your sweet treats with some sort of healthy fat and or protein, which nuts are a great source of both of those things. So not only are they delicious, they add a little bit of crunch to this, but you're helping balance out your blood sugar regulation just a little bit. So I went ahead and I whipped up 3 of these, and what I'm gonna do is take a nice mesh sieve, just like this, and you don't have to do this, I just do this to be a little bit fancy, but ultimately what we do to make this a chocolate treat is take some cacao powder. Again, doesn't have to be super fancy, but I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle this over the top of these things. And I honestly, like, you don't need a ton to get a really good chocolate flavored experience. And again, a date is a whole food. It contains fiber, it contains vitamins, it contains minerals. So it's a really excellent source. Any of these natural sweeteners that we're using are a much better source of sweet than sugar. So definitely choose these. Choose a whole date when you can. And you can adjust the amount of chocolate powder you want to throw on there. But these turn out really, I mean, first of all, they're super cute, great finger foods. They're awesome if you're having some sort of buffet style dinner or like a luncheon, or you just want little nibbles that are relatively healthy, but again, they kind of like hit that sweet spot. These are super tasty. And it's also nice to put 2 nuts in there, and you can make it a 2-bite snack. So I don't know if that's getting too technical for some people, but that's how I like to do it. All right, cool. So we have this. I'm gonna set, I don't know what I'm doing with all of my stuff. I need a bigger kitchen. Has anybody else ever had that feeling? If you just had more counter space, you could do so much more with life. So the last dessert we're gonna be making today, again, super simple, no-bake chocolate treats that are healthy for you. You can share with your friends, you can share with your kids. We're gonna be whipping up a really delicious paleo chocolate dipping sauce. Again, I love that all of these recipes are just a couple of ingredients. That's what makes them so simple. You don't even have to turn on your stove. I'm going to show you guys a trick that I use for melting one of the ingredients we're about to use. But what I have is just a measuring cup and a whisk. That makes this process go a lot smoother. And it's pretty simple to remember. I have a 1/4 cup of full-fat coconut milk. And that's one thing I love about using a liquid measuring cup, is I can just add all the ingredients in and measure as I go, and you only get one thing dirty. So that's another trick of the trade. I like to get down level with the liquid measuring cup so I can see exactly how much liquid is pouring in. So 1/4 cup organic full-fat coconut milk. And then this is coconut oil. Let me see, did I grab a towel? I didn't grab a towel. All right, so coconut oil is a sweetheart of the paleo community, and lucky for us, it melts easily. So again, I didn't want to turn on my stove today. I just filled a bowl with hot water, and I set this jar in there at the beginning of the video, and I'll show you guys, like, it's already melty. It's awesome. So this is actually a trick that I use if I ever just want to melt like 1 tablespoon or so of coconut oil. Like, I love putting coconut oil in my smoothies and in my tea, but I don't always like to have to turn on the stove to melt it. So I just set the whole jar in a bowl of hot water, and it melts enough to have, like, just as much as you need. If you leave it in there long enough, it'll melt the whole jar, and that's fine because it'll just re-solidify as soon as it cools down, and that's totally okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of coconut oil to the 1/4 cup of coconut milk. So we have a 1/2 cup total right now. And then I have pure maple syrup. So not to be confused with pancake syrup. Have you guys ever heard me talk about maple syrup before? Because if you haven't, I'll just tell you there's a huge difference between pure maple syrup, which is tree sap, and pancake syrup, which is not a real food. All right, so that's what we're gonna keep in mind moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple of tablespoons. I'm eyeballing it. I know that a 1/4 cup is 4 tablespoons. And that is probably the most maple syrup you're going to want to add. So I would say stick to about 3 tablespoons, which I'm just going to watch, and I'm going to measure it just a little bit under 3/4 cup. So 2 to 3 tablespoons is perfect. And again, you can kind of eyeball and adjust all of these recipes to taste. So that's another thing that makes them great and quick and easy and delicious. So we have these ingredients right now in our measuring cup, and the last thing we gotta add, of course, is chocolate. So I have 4 tablespoons, or 1/4 cup of cacao powder. So it's a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, 1/4 cup of oil, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, and then a 1/4 cup of this cacao powder. And you guys get to watch me do my little dance. So this is how I kind of whisk in a small space. So you can laugh if you want to. I'm totally okay with that because I know this technique works, and it's good to have fun in the kitchen. So I don't know if you've ever had any experiences of, have you figured out any crazy techniques that you know people would laugh at you for doing in the kitchen? Just gonna do my little dance. And this really is super effective. I'm just mimicking a hand mixer right now, but it's like a literal hand mixer, not an electric hand mixer. But this is super delicious, and what I did is I went ahead and I grabbed some amazing organic fresh strawberries to dip, and to drop on the floor, and also to dip in this amazing versatile chocolate dip. But one of the things I wanted to let you guys know is that in the Paleo Sweets cookbook, we have a whole chapter. I wrote a whole chapter that's paleo-friendly ice cream. So you could easily make your own like ice cream sundae or banana split using this exact chocolate sauce recipe. And it's super, again, healthy, full of healthy fats, natural sweeteners, which are much better for you than any sort of refined sweetener you'll find out there. This recipe is super versatile. I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little bit into a cup right now and come enjoy it with you. Yeah, because it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. I love showing you guys new and interesting ways to stay healthy while still meeting your sweet treat needs. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let's see, how's it going out there? I would love to know if you have any questions. For some reason, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my comments and stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to block you there. So I can see them afterwards, and if you guys have any questions at all, I would love to answer them. Again, these are some quick and easy chocolate treats that you can whip up in a matter of seconds, and you can store all of them in the fridge. I would say storing the truffles, you can store the truffles for a couple of weeks because they're made of non-perishable ingredients. They're gonna stay fresh longer. Also, the chocolate sauce is something you can make ahead of time and then just reheat it to melt it later. So let's see, let's take a taste. Nothing. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna spread the love, good chocolate everywhere. But yeah, grab your copy of Paleo Sweets. I'm gonna include a link in the comments below. Free cookbook, all you have to do is pay shipping. And let me see what, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, plenty of amazing, look, I have chocolate all over my hands, at least it's not all over my face. But brownies, we have caramel brownies, we have classic walnut brownies. I feel like there are a couple of chocolate recipes. Oh, the sexy black forest cake. This is the one that's on the cover. Super delicious. I've made that for several birthdays now. Really great chocolate dessert. Oh, mini flourless chocolate cakes. Plenty of chocolate desserts in here for you to enjoy. Free cookbook, just pay shipping. It takes about 10 to 12 business days to arrive at your door in the United States, but we do ship internationally. So go ahead and grab your copy. I'm really glad you guys joined me today. Please go ahead and indulge in these decadent treats. Again, you can rewatch the video after I post it to get the recipe. Again, super simple. We have our almond butter chocolate truffles. We have some hazelnut stuffed dates dusted with cocoa powder. And we have a really versatile chocolate dipping sauce. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always love having you in my kitchen. Excuse me. So I will see you next time, but have an amazing rest of your day. All right, bye.